Hi, this is BZ Rieger and it's October 9th. And I was asked a question, so I wanted to play with the question, and it's not so much an answer, it's kind of what came up as I was playing, the thoughts about it, and conversation with the being that asked me the question. And they wanted to know, they said they were referring to some things they'd heard me say, and something they'd heard me say also in a previous, I'm not sure if it was a rambling or a CCC conversation about, doing it, taking the leap, and, well, I often say, if you knew, what would the answer be? And they wanted to know about how do you do it? How do you just do it, whatever it is? How do you take that leap of faith? And what happens when you do? Or what can happen when you do? Or as the conversation evolved, what's the desirable outcome when you do? What are you striving for? And pretty much every one of those questions is going to be a different answer, a different take, a different conversation, depending on who's asking it, because you're the only expert for you. The only expert for you. Every being has their own experiences and their own way of playing with something, and their own aha moments as they, journey through something. So it'll be different. What I did say in playing with the question and having a delicious conversation around it is that very act of, leaping, as they said, the leap of faith, and going for it. So maybe to be more adventurous, maybe to trust in something unfolding before you know all of the specifics of what's happening, whether it's a move or a job or a falling, a nudge, or whatever it is. But the very act of playing with that, of committing to that, of trusting oneself in doing that, creates miraculous things to unfold. It's the wind beneath your wings. It's the bridge underneath your feet where there was once a huge perceived chasm that you had to actually, in fact, leap over. And Indiana Jones style, hope that the magic floor would appear. So what does that, and then we played with the what does that tell us, because they had said, yeah, actually they can think of many times when that's happened for them. It tells me anyways, that we're incredibly powerful, and we're incredibly powerful on the side of limiting ourselves and supporting, reinforcing, proving the illusion of being small. Because that's what we're directing to have unfold. And they were like, wait a minute, I was with you for a bit there. Well, think about it. We're constantly saying things that are in effect that we're small, in effect that we're limited, in effect that, everything else that everybody wants is doing or whatever to us, and we have no control over any of that, and we're just kind of this, piece of fluff bobbing on the water. And we put a tremendous amount of energy and a tremendous amount of thought process and creative thought process into making that so, into reinforcing that. And when we play with it in a way that kind of puts it right in our viewfinder, let's say, in our realization, scope, in the camera lens of our realization, wow, that's what I'm doing. It gives us pause and thinks, well, what the heck am I doing that? It's not what I want. It's not what I say that I want. I'm really not thinking it's cool that that's unfolding. But perhaps it never occurred to me when I was doing all those things to reframe it, to look at it a different way. So the very act of having a conversation of, or considering, or maybe enumerating the different things that you would just take that leap of faith and not require all of those, boxes to be checked or steps to be supposedly secure, whatever that is, assurances, and the very act of doing that changes the whole playing field. It changes the whole molecular structure of your reality, of your brain patterns, of your whole physical thought forms and structures, of all the synapses within all of your bodies. Now that's something to think about. It's pretty wondrous, and it's pretty moment of, shit. I've been reinforcing this all this time, and I didn't want to do that. So that's just on the thought of doing it. If the thought of taking that leap and the playing with the what ifs and what's it about and what does it do and how do you do it and how do you know what you want to take the leap on and outcomes and stuff like that. Now you're starting to script. Now you're starting to build a recipe. Now you got your cosmic cookie bowl, and and you're stirring your different ingredients in, and then you add in the realization, the playing with, wow, that just in doing that changes the molecular structure of my reality and all of my bodies, which it absolutely does. Now you're on a roll. Now you've got some magical ingredients that you're taking a pinch of this and a dash of this off the shelf, and you're putting them into your cosmic cookie bowl recipe. And now the wonder starts to happen. The wonder starts to unfold of, what about taking a leap here or a leap there, or a possibility of playing with this leap this way? And the fear, the smallness, that, kind of timid trepidation, unknown, really vanishes from certainly the forefront of our considerations. And this wonderful thing happens, is like this stream in your video room, in your possibilities, in your creative, inspired little workshop that you have within your being goes, well, yeah, and while we're doing that, let's, take a leap here and play with that, and what about this, and all these potentials happen. And it begets more and more and more. And whether you actually take the leap is entirely up to you, just as whether you were proving to yourself and keep calling forth to you, keep having delivered to you all sorts of reasons and people and relationships and activities and results and however you want to else categorize it, be delivered to you that you are small and that there's no way you can let go of, your steady, secure hold on stuff. So it changes, the supposed security and confident footholds in things, which is why a lot of people won't make a change or take that leap. It negates them all, doesn't it? It's like, well, okay, I was sure in this, and that, and I can see that just playing with the potential of that has shown me that all of those are the illusion. And what I'm now diving into and conceptualizing and letting my organic brain, actually the synapses and the electromagnetic components and firing of the creation reality builders, the mechanism that makes things tangible, is reshifting all of that. So it's something to consider. It's an interesting road. It's a never-ending conversation, and the wondrous things that unfold. I'd love for you to share what leaps of faith, what leaps of possibility, what leaps of creation are you considering, have you done, and what's the very act of just playing with that done for you in that whole process. I love you.